Hey, welcome to another episode of Behind the Bar podcast, brought to you by the coaches and clients of RT Fitness Durham, Sunderland and the Barbell Club, where we take you from complete beginner to photo shoot ready. If you want any information, just click the link below and that'll get you a call booked on with Sarah to sign up for any of our programs. So on today's episode, we have the awesome Ross Jameson-Laffey. He is a friend of ours now, and I mean, it's an awesome episode. This is a guy who has helped people all of his life build themselves up, build the business, build their own brands. And now he has decided to finally follow his passion and go for it alone. But he's going through it. I mean, he's got his own business of still helping people help them, but also he is doing retreats on mindfulness, meditation, manifestation, all of the good stuff. And this is his story, and he is just so passionate about helping people, about being self-aware and everything. Really, really good story, this one. So please listen in. I know I've already decided I want him back on the podcast to do some more practical stuff. But yeah, so this is all of his story from finding his own passion as well. So enjoy it. Listen all the way through to the end. Right then, welcome.
Yes.
Who is Ross Jameson-Laffey?
So who am I?
I have said that right, haven't I?
Yes.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So I am a business transformation strategist.
Right.
And freedom mentor.
Brilliant.
That's
and that's you.
That's me in a nutshell.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the what we said off air, the second bit. So what's the business strategy stuff?
So I've been, obviously everybody's got a story, and you know, over the last 15 years I've been working in business support, so helping people follow their dreams, that, you know, if they've got a seed of an idea, a hobby or an interest, and they want to turn that into a business. So I've worked with individuals to do that and then to scale those businesses. So that's what me job was.
Right.
You know, and so as a legacy from that, a company called Sprouted has sprouted a legacy project, and that's basically working with...
And this is your own?
This is mine,
right,
yeah. And I've got another co-founder that I work with who is a digital marketing guru, influencer. She's monetized so many aspects of our life to be able to get, you know, a horizontal income. And I think that's really important for a lot of people, especially post-COVID, and the way that the world's changing. I think what we'll have to do is to really look at the business and to be able to monetize those areas to allow you to be able to live your truth in what you want to do outside of work. Because a lot of people, the business becomes their baby, and then it can sometimes become a noose around the neck, or the fear of the income not coming in. And so essentially what I do with that is we'll go in and we're almost like a fresh pair of eyes, where we would go into the business and work with the person, because the business owner, it's their baby at the end of the day, you know. Yeah. And sometimes they don't have that ability to be able to work on their business. They're normally in it, and if they've got staff, you can't really speak your truth in terms of, because you're supposed to know what you're doing and all of that sort of thing. So we will work with them to be able to give a cohesive approach and scalability, and that normally comes from the business owner first. And that's where the second part of my business came in, which is the freedom mentoring. Because for me on my journey, what I've realized is my sole purpose is to serve and to support, and, you know, allow people that space to be able to find who they are and what that purpose is, and then give them the strategy to be able to achieve that and collaborate with those around them who are also on their journey.
So how do you do that then? So how do you do, like, how do you get, say, well, let's say a personal trainer or somebody who wants to train people, like, and they're saying, like, look, this is my passion, how can you help me?
Yeah, so it's split into two parts. So what I would normally do is you can work through the idea, and what you would do is you would look at what gaps that person's got and be able to give them that strategy in order to get there. So that would be, you know, the real essence of the business is building the firm foundation.
Right.
So a lot of people will say, I'll say to them normally, what's your goal? What do you want?
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, oh, they want a Rolex watch, or they want, you know, all those superficial things. That I've been there, I've got them. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've got them. And I realised very quickly that it doesn't matter what you set your goal on. Once you've achieved it, it's then what. And I think for me, you know, I came from coming from lack and low self-worth, right, as I was growing up, and that was holding in me sexuality and feeling that I wasn't worthy, because when I was 15, when I came out, 40 now in April, so like it wasn't as what it is now, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
And I couldn't even, I've been, in my environment has been a very supportive environment. My parents have been amazing, they're very, very supportive, and they've always given us that confidence to be able to speak me truth. So when I would go into sort of in the school environment or be around that sort of network of the sheep, if you like, you know, when you're growing up, you know,
I'm from the same era as you.
Yeah, so you get like, you know, the pity pass, the one that's left,
yeah,
you know, not picked on the football and all that, because that's not my vibe. And so I had all of those sort of feelings of lack and low self-esteem. And what I done is then I flipped that on its head at a very young age to say, right, okay, I'll show you. So that then went on to, I wanted to buy my first house. So I'll show them, I'll be the first one to buy my house at 23, buy the house, do it up, make the money on it. Right, I want another house. You know, that's showing.
Yes.
So then you scale it up, you buy more houses. I was on Homes at the Hammer, this, that and the other. Growing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was, yeah.
Excellent.
Me and my sister, but I lost my voice. Right, I'd lost my voice and I was walking when the camera's on, you know, back then. But anyway, yeah, so we've done all of that sort of thing. And,
I
you
need
know,
to see that episode.
You do, yeah, hilarious. Me and my sister couldn't. Do you know what it is as well, right? There was that many takes because we had to open the door, and as we were walking in, that you have to point the things to, like, you know, for the content, like back then.
Yeah.
And there was this like old-fashioned like fireplace, like really stone. So me and Rachel it was only a 2-bed, 2 up, 2 down. So we'd have to shut the door, stand on the stairs. Well, honestly, I couldn't stop laughing. So when you open the door, right, the camera was on you and I was laughing, you know, and Rachel set her off, no, we're going to have to do another take, because I had to keep pointing to the same fire that needs changed. And you know, you flick the wallpaper, like you're going to take the wallpaper off with your finger, right? Yeah. So it's all that. Anyway, that was a good experience. But so I went on from there, and I think, do you know, that need to show people, really not for me to project. And I realised, you know, then it was like, I want a Rolex watch, I want 2 Rolex watches, I want to fly business class, I want all of these material things that actually when you get them, you know, your first Louis Vuitton bag or whatever, you're like, and then you realise it's a bag. Do you know what I mean?
I've got an Adidas bag.
Have you? Yeah, well, do you know what? And the thing is, it means nothing.
Yeah.
The soul connection with people and the ability to be able to share who you are and who I am, to connect on that level is so much more important. But I had to go through all of those things, you know. And so that's the journey that I went on. Before lockdown, what happened was I got into cryptocurrency. It's quite controversial. A lot of people, you know, don't really know a lot about it. I believe it's the future in terms of a monetary system for people like you and me. And I think, so I got into that quite early and was successful in that, you know, because like for 3 months I just made it my job. I seen what other people were doing and then I done it. That gave me the financial freedom to be able to then say, well, what's next, you know? And done that.
And the what next wouldn't have been more Rolex?
No, definitely not, no.
Because that's past.
It wasn't this need to be able to, I knew there was something inside of us that I needed to get out. I was searching for something. Yeah. And in lockdown gave me the opportunity to be able to, pardon me, that was that coffee there, it's just come back up. So lockdown gave me the opportunity because the whole world stopped. And now if I was constantly wanting to be, if I stood still.
It was a big reset, really, wasn't it, for a lot of people?
Because if I had to stop still, I wasn't moving forward, and that was my mindset. Like, I had to keep going, work round the clock, me and Lee, work round the clock, opportunities and all that. And actually, when I flicked the telly on and was sitting there, and I'd said to Lee's brother, I went, this is going to change the world. What we're witnessing now, I can't make sense of it, but I know it is never going to be the same. So anyway, that allowed me, because the job that I was doing was to be able to support the business from the local authorities. So central government send the money to local authorities to then, for us to be able to then, the government grants and stuff like that to keep them going. And I set up the helpline, and the team was so frightened to be able to answer the calls, because we'd always helped people start and grow, and we can help you, and actually they didn't have the answers, and neither did the government. We didn't know, so we had to support all them through. And then I got the opportunity to be able to work from home, set up a business, like the telephone lines, and support the businesses. The world changed, and I also then went out for walks. And what happened was, I'm really consciously aware of the moment and really holding on to the moment to be able to get the lessons from it. So when me and Lee's brother Brandon used to go for a walk around Penshaw Monument, I said to Brandon, I went, we don't know how long this is going to go on for, but look at the leaves, look at the plants at the minute, Like I went, I wonder when we go on our walks, we'll watch these shoot up, be in full bloom, and then go. And that full year we walked through and were consciously aware of that moment. I went, we've seen the 4 seasons, we've watched the wild garlic at the back of Penshaw grow and die, and then and
because probably the year before that you would never even have noticed.
Never. I would have walked straight past. I wouldn't have even walked. That was the truth,
Well,
And so that allowed us to get that reset, to be able to think, right, well, what's going to happen, like what we're going to do. We need to move on. We've got an opportunity here. So at the time, obviously, I was checking the property market, because I had properties, and seeing, because no one was buying, no one was selling, and we had a stock of like ex-local authority houses.
Right.
That's right. And looking in the future, trying to see where we're going to be. It was like, I was thinking, there's going to be so many people out of work. There's going to be, this is changing mindset. This is allowing people. So people who were on furlough, what's furlough? No one knew what that was, right?
Never even heard of the word.
Yeah, never heard of it. What does it mean? What it means is people got an opportunity to taste what retirement could be like, right? when they're in their 30s, their 40s, you know what I mean? And those that didn't and worked right the way through, they then realised, like, whoa, what I want is a work-life balance. Is this really worth it? Going to work in a 9 to 5, sitting in an office, and is that what people really want? So the question, and there's a lot of that, people thinking and feeling and wondering what their reality has been is now no longer, and what's the opportunity. So I did think that was going to impact those people who were renting the properties, because, well, at the end of the day, depending on, financial circumstances and that sort of thing, you
the first couple of weeks was up in the air, like nobody knew what was going to happen.
So one of our tenants got in touch with a girl, met a girl and said, look, I'm going to move out. So we'd had those properties, we never thought we'd sell them. My parents helped support to be able to get that sorted, and it was all done. And we went to the Lake District on a little weekend with our family, and my mum and dad went, well, why don't you sell one of the houses? And me and Rachel were like, thinking, get in, do you know what I mean? Like, yes, let's sell one, that'll massively help, like, financially. And my mum and dad were like, well, just sell them all if you want to, because, like, it's up to you what you want to do. And what happened was the prices were going up, so I knew you get, like, I've rode the waves of property, and I've, touch wood, like, we've bought and sold at the right time. So what happened was, it was an inflated market, so we chose to sell all of the properties. We've got like one left in the one that I live in now, but so that allowed us to free up some cash flow to then say, right, well, what do I want? What do I really want? Because you're getting one crack at life. I've stopped still here now and being able to think, what do I really want? Do you know what I mean? Like, because like business owners and people, you fall into jobs, you fall into opportunities, and then kids come along and it just rolls along. Do you know what I mean? So I got that opportunity to be able to stop and think, God, what do I want? So then what I done is I then looked at I thought, right, well, actually I'm getting a bit of a calling, like I want a work-life balance. So I looked at a property up in Northumberland. It was like a lodge park, but like, like the Austrian lodges, there was 13 lodges, and one of them would be where you lived. And I thought, me and Lee could move there. I could live off the fat of the land, like the good life, right? We could do retreats. And So that's where it started. But what happened was, because it was a commercial entity and with residential, and I had to get a mortgage to be able to do all of the development and everything like that I needed to do to it, I couldn't get the mortgage because it wasn't a residential, it wasn't a commercial. So it was just going to and in front, and I was like pushing water up a hill. It was me, I need this opportunity, you know. And I'd already put down, I'd shook the guy's hand and went, I want it. I'll give you a deposit, cash, there you go, sign it. And but I couldn't get it, and I went to him and I just said, look, you know, because he lived in a property because he owned the land and he had a big house, was building houses, and he said, we're connected, you know, and I thought he's going to be a lovely guy to be able to be a neighbour with and all that. And when it didn't happen, he says to us, no, I know it's an issue and I'll give you your money back, like, because it was non-refundable. I was happy to, and it was so gracious of him to be able to do that, so I got that back. And then me and Lee were like, we need to sell, because the house that we're in Penshaw, at the back of the monument, we bought it as a stopgap. So we'd completely renovated the whole house, and it was like...
As a stopgap, you renovated the whole thing?
Yeah, well, what happened was we completely transformed it. We had like a suite, and it had a balcony overlooking the fields. It was beautiful, but it was like a 4-bedroom detached house, and we'd converted it, and there was no growth. You know, we'd done a recording studio for Lena, and it was just, we could have sat there, and that would have been, we could have had that as well forever, but it just wasn't enough for me, because my dad built the house that I was brought up in. I've always been around property. We've been trying to buy land for years. Do you know what I mean? And and just never been able to get that, to build my own property. And then what happened was, I was searching around, and this little nugget came up, and it was less than 24 hours, and it was where I'm living now. And the pictures didn't do it justice. And it wasn't, and I just had a feeling that we needed to go and see it, you know. And at the time, because the prices were all inflated, I thought, if we're going for it, we need to go way over the asking and blow them out the water and just get it. So anyway, we viewed it. There was supposed to be 20 odd viewings, because that was when, like, you know, it was really like everybody was viewing everything to buy. And the girl that was supposed to be the first viewing at 9 o'clock.
Because they had all that furlough money.
Of course, exactly. I know they did. Yeah, so did we. Anyway, right. And it was a case of like, let's go. So the first person didn't view. So they cancelled, and we were the second one. We met this couple, and it was the drive. When you go through, it's just in the Lanchester Valley. It's just a little nook. And we went in. It's a Victorian railway station. And we went in, and I came up the drive, and Lee went, this is it. And I went, this is it, I think, before we even got in. It didn't matter, because obviously we can do it up, you know, the way we wanted, but I just seen the solid structure of the building that stood there for 200 years. And that's what I am. I hold people in a space, a safe space, to allow them to. So I had a connection with the property before we even went in.
That's what you want, though. Like,
of course.
You know, when you're walking into a house, it's like, yep, this is it.
Yeah.
You get that feeling.
And we went in and seen it, and it just had so much potential. It's got a beautiful orchard. And I didn't know then what I'm doing now, if that makes sense, but I just had a feeling of knowing that this place was going to be the place.
It was going to send you off in a direction.
Yeah, on a completely different direction. So anyway, we went in. It was really hairy, trying to go in. We went way in over the asking. It went to sealed bids, and then you're thinking, well, you know, is it going to happen? Is it not? You know. And anyway, they said they were really happy that me and Lee went, and that we put in the highest bid. And as it happened, we managed to get a little bit of a discount because of the septic tank and all that, and it worked out perfectly. And then what happened was, back to me day job of supporting businesses and managing the teams to be able to support the businesses. And a true soul sister who I'd helped, she came to see me like 8 years ago to set up as she was like end-of-life care, helping palliative care, like a nurse. And she wanted to set up her own personal training, right?
All right.
And anyway, but the minute I connected with her, all those years ago, like it was just a spark. I didn't know what it was, but I was just drawn. She was drawn to me. It just was a laugh and a joke, and it was a dance. That's what we've done, right? So I supported her through and mentored her through. And she then went on a spiritual journey of self-discovery. And now she's a global citizen, lives in Bali. And her purpose is to end poverty in the world. And she's got a signature program. I'm going to Colombia with her.
Yeah.
Like, But what she done is she rang us up and said, like, you know, I need to be working with you. I need you in my business. We need to be working together. Like, and I said, no, I can't take your business. Like, we can't. But I was sitting in my dining room doing the job, but I was pulled to think, well, could I? What could I do? And at that moment, we connected again. She'd been away for 3 years because of lockdown. She was stuck in Bali, and that really planted the seed. And then I knew, because of the way that the world's changed, the offering of the support that the entities that we work for to help them are no longer fit for purpose, because the world's changed so much because of digitalization and fast.
Very, very fast.
And this is the thing, like, most people don't realize how quick it's changed and how the impact of artificial intelligence is working now on removing workflow of people. So there's an opportunity, you know, that's another story. And then what happened was I was talking to one of my really good friends who, she works within business, but she'd moved off, and she says, Ross, why don't you do your retreats? Because I knew that this job was it was naturally coming to an end, and normally like the 7-year cycle, but this was like 14 years, coming up 15 years, and I'm thinking, I don't want to be doing this when I'm 40 and 50 and 60 and go, because I've got so much more to give, you know, and like, but I didn't know what that was. And anyway, when she said, Ross, why don't you go back to do your retreats? And, you know, because I'd done some law of attraction workshops and stuff like that. I'd delivered a couple of those, but it wasn't divine time like it is right now, right? And it just came to us, and I thought, boom, that's what I'm going to do. And then as I started to be able to focus and allow myself to drift into that place of the unknown, of a different world, that's when great things have happened, and that's why now I do what I do, which is doing the retreats. And it's, holding people in a space to be able to get what they want, and whatever you want, you can absolutely have. I know that is the truth, but it just all comes down to manifestation and mindset.
By the way, you've just answered all of my questions.
Oh, did I? Get in.
In one go.
Do you want to talk about something else?
No, I've got more questions. Fucking hell, yeah. He went for it there, didn't he?
Did I?
Brilliant.
Was that it?
That was the first question. Yeah.
Oh,
well
sorry.
Done. Oh, no, it's all good. It's brilliant.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought we're done.
Oh, no. Boom, mic drop out.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
No,
are you sure that's okay?
Well, yeah, it's okay. God, where do I go from there? That was excellent, that.
Was it?
No, it was. God, I had so many things in between, but no, I'm very happy with that. So, basically now, though, because of where you were the business mentor in a way, you now have to do what you've been telling people to do.
Absolutely. And you know, fear, the fear of being found out, imposter syndrome, like the worry.
Is that real?
I think what happens is we get clouded in a belief system that actually isn't true. It's a negative vortex.
Yeah.
So when you control it, when you're quiet in your mind, okay, to be able to get self-discovery and be able to find out a direction. Like what I do now, right, is every single day I allow, what some people say spirit, some people say consciousness. I'm guided by me, truly me. And that fear of being found out has been eliminated by consciously doing what I do, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But when I made that decision, you know, it did make me think, you know, what I've been helping people, I've done bits on the side and I've made more money on the side than what I've been paid in my job. Yeah. Consistently every year for the last 6-7 years, something like that, right? But it's that root and that holding that comfort zone of being in a space of knowing that you're getting paid that money, that'll pay the mortgage, it'll do whatever, you know what I mean? When you go into a job and you agree a salary for your time, your purpose and your true alignment is stifled by that salary. Yeah. That's the truth. And because you can't see past knowing that, and then you grow to your salary And that's why people have got too much month at the end of their salary, because of the increase in hyperinflation and the printing of the money and all that.
You only live month by month.
That's
then.
right.
Like you live in paycheck to paycheck.
That's
isn't
right.
It?
Yeah. So that fear of thinking I'm, being found out, or being, can I do this? I sort of reverse engineered that to be able to feel where I feel right now, is to say, this is what I'm here to do. Now, and I'm going to bang my own drum, sing my own song, and speak me truth. I used to think, oh, am I talking too lispy? Am I too camp? Am I this? Am I that? And I'm fearful of what those people think of me. But actually, do you know the truth is, you're talking to the wrong audience. So if you, you're giving energy to the wrong audience. So if you align with who you are, right, and you know the courage of your convictions, you're not trying to do anybody out, not one-upmanship, steal anybody's light, you're just focusing on your own, that's when you're always going to be okay, because the door's just absolutely open and flow happens.
100% agree, because in the, I'll use the personal training realm, my realm, all personal trainers are trying to show off to other personal trainers when those aren't the clients who you're trying to attract. They're always trying to updo each other, trying to slag each other off, and all the rest of it. It's like, I don't follow any single personal trainer.
Right, okay.
Do you know what I mean? I don't follow them. I don't, like, there's a few little YouTube bits I'll watch, like people who I do respect, but I'm not looking at it as like a negative style thing. And I don't look at other gyms in the area or anything like that. I don't give a shit. People tell us about what people are doing, and it's like, I don't care. As long as I'm focusing on what we do, we'll be the best.
Yeah. So just on that, one of the things that keeps coming through to me, right, when I talk to anybody who's in business or anybody who's on a journey of self-discovery or wants to be able to move forward with their lives where they are right now, right, it's alignment with who you are. Who are you? What do you want to do? Okay. Yeah. What is your purpose? Then the strategy bit comes in, whether it's part of the business side that I help with or the personal side. The strategy. How are you going to get there? And then it's collaboration with those that are on their own journey, who will be able to work with you side by side in their light to get to where they want to be and where you want to be. It's the collaboration is key.
It is. I need to work on some extra collaborations.
Right. Okay.
I know I do, because it's so... I'll talk about my manifestation bit.
Right, okay.
So have you heard of Grant Cardone?
No,
he's like the 10x guy.
Oh, right.
Okay, right, yeah. Literally, whatever you think about your goal is, you've got to 10x it.
Yes, right, okay.
And then obviously if you come close, happy days. So the way that he says it is like, write down your goals every single day. And he says, obviously, then 10x it. So the way I need to collaborate, and I know I need to grow, like, say, socials and stuff like that. So I need to, now I figured out just in the last couple of days, it's like, well, if I want X amount of clients, I need to actually double all my socials, double the expansion. How am I going to do that? I need to actually collaborate somewhere along the line, because all this, what we're doing by ourselves, is only reaching X.
Absolutely. And what's happening is with the evolution of Web3, right? So we as people now are consuming 20,000 more pieces of information per day than 2 generations above us. So I think my granddad, right? My granddad, bless him, right? He used to smoke loads, was very, and I look at where he was, right? And just didn't, very easy life, right?
Yeah.
And then I look at like what I consume when I've had the earplugs in. I'm watching podcasts, I'm watching lectures, I'm finding out about living on the fat of the land, off grid, you know, what's happening in the world of business, on World Economic Forum, World Health Organization.
And that's probably in an hour.
In an hour.
Yeah.
So that really helped me.
And a few TikToks.
Well, do you know the thing is with TikTok? TikTok is I don't know, I'm busy writing a workshop for business owners on the use of artificial intelligence within your business. And TikTok is like a nuclear bomb. And when it's been set up right in China, TikTok, they've got like their algorithm is only, people in China can only scroll educational, nothing else comes into on their programs, but the rest of the world, everybody's falling over and all of that sort of thing, you know.
Right, okay.
And that's a negative escrow, because if you think about it, you can be consumed tick, tock, tick,
yeah, it
tock.
is.
And so don't get us wrong, I see the odd one, I do howl at some of the funny stuff and all of the rest of it, but I do limit myself to what I'm allowing into me energy field, you know.
Yeah.
So on the way Web3's going now is so the evolution of the internet. So when it was like I was explaining before, like with the likes of Yahoo and the old dial-up and all of the rest of it, right? That then moved on to the likes of the big, the conglomerates like Google and Twitter and, you know, all of those. But what's happening is now we're moving into Web3, which is the artificial intelligence, you know, decentralization with cryptocurrencies and all of those sorts of things. The power of the internet's going to completely change as we know it. And cut that bit out when I burp there. No, I can. Yeah, so the way that's changed, it's all going to be on the power of your network and people buying off people, because the way SEO works, there's been some papers wrote on the death of SEO and with artificial intelligence, because you can get robots to do manual jobs now. What's real, what isn't. You've seen what they can do with, you know, taking a video of Tom Cruise was one of them, and now they can, it looks like Tom Cruise and it's not him, and they put people side by side. It's fascinating what's happening. But if you aren't a creator, you're going to be a consumer. Yes. And what you need to think about is, this is going to be on an exponential scale. So if you look at the likes of, you know, when when a business gets world domination, right, and it normally takes X amount of years. So, but if you watch over the years, like say how long it took for Google to take on, and then Facebook, the technology now, like there's a thing called ChatGPT that they reckon it's an Elon Musk creation, and that is going to be like your personal assistant. It's already out there now. Right. And you can ask it anything. You can, kids of today, you know, like your children will grow up, and this is the scary thing, and this is what you've got to be. If you're consciously aware of it, you can navigate through the matrix of what is life and what we're living through. But the reality is there's going to be kids on their phones, talking to their phones, and it's going to become their best friend, because already you can, say for example, you wanted to find out about how to grow an organic garden in your area, what's the best things, and see if you've got a small space. You can type that in, and within 3 minutes it'll give you the information. Yeah. That's how quick it is. You can ask it to write an email for you. You can ask it to do anything, and it'll do it right now. That's not in the future, it's now. Yeah. So that's going to impact the way business is. And if you think, my business that I've got for the growing the businesses, we've automated absolutely every inch of the business that we possibly can. So, for example, we've got a piece of equipment now, which is so cheap, it's only $10 a month. And what that would... Is
this a sell?
No, it's not mine. It's not mine. This is somebody else's. Because I'm not a programmer or anything like that, right? But this $10 a month, what it does is we can record. So say I was in a meeting with you, right? We're going to be doing strategy, whatever. We press the button, we'll talk, me and my business partner, you, go on. We'll have actions, we'll talk about who's going to do what, we'll talk about where your pinch points are, whatever it is that we'll talk about. Agree, right, we'll get back in touch with you by Friday, press the button, and then we go away. That information is then automated, so it has a word for word, who spoke what, who said, instantly. So it has like every sentence that everybody said within that meeting. And then what it does is it pulls all of the key points of topics that you've discussed, any actions, who said what, and it gives you the information straight away within seconds. Brilliant. It's brilliant, it's $10. So when you think about the power of that, and every other aspect, you don't need to be spending a load of money on labour and all that, but you know, you can really automate your service. So that's that. But therefore, what you have to do as a counterbalance is to be, who are you? You know, if you can get a robot to do X, Y, Z, well, what are you going to do? What's your purpose? How are you going to navigate through this experience of life? Because you've only got one journey, and it's a full-on book. And people are in there for a chapter, a sentence, the full story, you know. And there's a poem called "The Dash," and it's normally read out at a lot of. It's like a eulogy, like, you know, people's. I wanted it mine. It's so powerful because you've got the start date of when you were born and the end date. But the dash is the most important bit, because that's your story, that's your purpose, that's the entity of what your experience has been on this earth for that time. Yeah. And what would you want somebody to be reading out in your eulogy about what you've done? What impact have you had? What's your story? What's your legacy? for when you move on to the white light or whatever you believe in, you know.
Yeah. But you know what, like for this in itself though, some people are just happy just being.
Of course.
That's
it's so important to allow that.
Yeah.
Because what we've got to remember is that that's their journey.
Yeah.
And that's completely, if people are content, it's a lovely place to be.
Yeah.
To be in a place of absolute contentment. Now I was just talking to my friend about it the other day, we know two people who have found each other. They were in relatively modest jobs, which is absolutely fine.
Yeah.
The both of them fell in love, they've got children, they both love each other so dearly. They go camping with their kids.
Yeah.
They do their 9 to 5, and what they've created is a little bar in their garden, they've got a little hot tub, and they've got a little mortgage, and they're really happy. And you know, what a gift to be able to have that journey of knowing that you found that person, you found contentment at such a young age, and you managed to be able to live in that bubble of contentment for your journey, you know. For me, what I believe is that there's so many people that, because of the environment that we're brought up in, because of we suck in all of the information from when we first took our first breath to get to where we are, we navigate as human beings just through, wandering through life and seeing opportunities. But what happens is, with some people, and these are the people that we'll talk about, our customers, you know, our clients, our soul family, this is what I'm on about, you know, the connections with the people, they will come and present themselves, and then you share your story and give them that information for them to be able to do whatever they want with it, but it will move them forward. Because what everybody learns from everybody. It's like, you know, sometimes we're teachers, sometimes we're students, and you flip between the two because you're like, I've never walked a mile in your shoes. Do you know, I haven't, you know, but what you give to me is all of your knowledge, your experience, your wisdom that's got you to where you are right now. So I'll graciously accept that.
Which you're going to be next week.
I am, yes. And I'll accept that, and I'll share and help and support you on your journey and do what you need to do. And if it's for a little sentence, that's fine. If it's for the paragraph, that's fine. Or if it's for the rest of this story, then great, you know.
We say reading a book, even if you just take that one little section away, which probably as you do in most books, sometimes it is just that one nugget in it, and the rest of it's like you're trying to power through.
But you get the nuggets,
and
people are always dishing out nuggets of golden nuggets of wisdom and advice, and, you know, just seeing and thinking things in a different way. I find it so powerful when people just speak the truth, and then I get to be able to then think, well, why did they think that? Or what? I've got a really close friend, right, who she has ADHD, but she, and I believe everybody's on a different frequency, right? If most people are on it from like 0 to 90% functioning, you've got the rest of the degrees where people are just seeing things in a different way. Now that's a gift. So when I speak to my friend, dear friend, right, she sees things on a completely different frequency. So when I talk to her, right, some people don't understand, some people, right, but it's a gift. So I'll download that information from her and be able to look at it, because you have that ability once you start doing your self-development, you then you see the gifts that people have. You see the nuggets of opportunity that they present to you, of course.
That's the thing,
Absolutely,
Well, let's get to the manifestation stuff.
Okay.
Right then.
Flip that mic.
Oh, button up.
Button up, brother.
So, look, I am only on to the third question.
Oh, wow.
But you did actually answer. So, like, how did it all come about? And all that? So we've done all this. Right, so sweet. So manifestation.
Yes.
What's your process on it?
So you hear these words getting flipped around, like ask, believe, receive, right? Or just think about it, and whatever you think about, you can attract, right?
The law of attraction.
The law of attraction and all of that, right? And that's, so that came about, the law of attraction, right? Because it was created to be able to send out to the masses so people could understand it in a way that was easy to understand, right, to be able to then start them on their journey. But if you go a step before that, manifestation and, you know, the ability to be able to think what you think about, you bring about, has been going on for years and years and years.
Is it just dreaming then? Dreaming and then pushing through? Like actually dreaming something up and then
Yeah, so
thinking,
there's a couple of
follow
ways
it
of looking
through?
at it. So for me, right, you can look on it, because there's a lady called Esther Hicks. Esther Hicks channels energy, right?
Right.
Now people are like, oh, what's all that about, right? But it's when you go down the rabbit hole, it's
Yeah.
fascinating. Now I went to San Francisco to say I manifested that space. That's another story.
Right.
But yeah, what you've got to remember is right, what we see through our eyes is only our reality, but there's so much more that's going on. Like we don't even question when you're on a FaceTime. Like, how on earth can I see your face? Where's the
From a different
from a
country.
yeah? Do you know what I mean?
In real time.
In real time, and that's why when you get to understand that actually it's far greater and bigger. Consciousness is far greater and bigger than what we even know, what we can even comprehend, what I can even get in my head to really understand. So with that, right, allowing that flow of knowing that there's something greater and bigger, right? What do you do? How do you do it? So what I've done, which has really worked really well from me, is a starting block. And you probably explained something very similar when you're talking about your gym and your commitment to the conscious commitments to the gym, right? So what I would say, first of all, for anybody who's thinking, how do you do it? What do? You make that commitment to yourself that you're going to stop and stand and stare in the mirror and be able to look at yourself and say, right, who are you? And where you are right now is exactly where you're supposed to be. And the reason for that is because your journey has got you, either consciously or unconsciously, to where you are right now in that moment, okay? Mm-hmm. So once you've really aligned with that and understood, right, I accept where I am. I am a product of a series of nows. Now. Because
Every single thing, every single experience is all to this moment.
To this moment, you know, when you're in the shop buying your thing, you speak to the woman. Everything is right. So once you've actually committed to yourself,
effect.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. So then, what I would say is you have to then create a ritual for you to be able to get into a routine of being able to manifest where you want to go and what you want to do. Now, how do you do that? So when we talk about this 24 hours in a day, if we believe the clock, right?
Yeah.
That's another thing, right? But
yeah, we'll keep that one. Yeah, believe the clock.
So right, so that's probably another one, right? Or maybe it's not. It's too much anyway. But what I would say to people is, right, we say we've got 24 hours in a day, and we haven't got time. Nobody's got time to do anything, okay? So they're too busy. For me, the best thing, people can do it on a night time, some people can do it during the day, depending on when you've got the golden hour. I would call it a golden hour. You owe it to yourself to give yourself at least 1 hour out of those 24 hours to work on you. It's like when you're working in your business, you need to work on it.
Yeah.
You can. You absolutely can, but you need to get that golden hour and you need to do that and have that commitment to yourself. So what I do every single morning religiously now, and it's part of me now, and I can't see me deviating from this because I've dipped in and out, but now I'm committed and I've been doing it for months.
What time do you do this?
So I normally get up at about 5:45, 6 in the morning.
Because it's going to change next week.
I know it is, yes, yeah, which is absolutely fine.
Yeah.
So what I do is, and I'm preparing for that already,
Right, okay.
because I'm getting into a groove of absolute loving what I'm doing,
Yeah.
right? So what I would do is that you need to quiet your mind. What you need to do is to give yourself a quiet mind. So first thing, do not pick up your phone straight away and go on your socials and check them. Check your emails, see what's happening on the Daily Mail. That's another one,
Yeah.
do you know, right? Any of that, don't. So consciously, the minute you take your first breath and you wake up, give it a stretch and take yourself away from your bedroom, downstairs in your sitting room. What I do is I go down into the sitting room. I've got like an altar, which I'll talk, that's another story. Basically,
but that's like your quiet. That's
your
zone.
It's the zone.
Yeah.
The zone of where I'm going to be able to connect with me, And people talk about meditation, and everybody wants to get into meditation, but they don't know how to do it, and they're distracted. And it's pretty much like when somebody probably comes to the gym first time, right? They love it, but they think, they hate it, and it's a routine. They don't enjoy it, And so what you've got to do is you've got to be able to get into that space. So what I do is I create the space. So I do that with a series of rituals. I light an incense, stick,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's about getting into the zone.
Now
And
you wear your headband.
pop the headband on and I sit there and all kinds come out now. And basically what I do is I like to put on, I'm drawn to different types of music, but I put on a certain type of music depending on what I'm feeling into. So it could be like the gong music, or it could just be peaceful music, and it's like the birds
Sort of like
tweeting and
spa music?
Yeah, very
Yeah, yeah.
similar, yeah.
Yeah.
I can send you some links, free
Yeah,
ones
no,
that people
yeah,
can have a
yeah.
little look
Yeah.
at. And that really, really work for me. And what happens is then I then quiet my mind, close my eyes, focus on my breathing, because it's like anything, right? Like whenever you do anything, if you don't get into that space of focus, it's like, oh, I'm meditating, but I'm thinking about what I'm making the kids for their tea tonight, or oh, I'm meditating, oh God, I've got that really important meeting at 10:30. You know what I mean? Like you can't. That's why it has to be the first. For me, it has to be the first thing on a morning, and you're not visualizing what you want. What you're doing is you're focusing on your breathing in the space of nothingness, and that's hard at first.
Yeah.
But what happens is, naturally, as you start doing this and make that conscious commitment to yourself, like I am going to do this, right? Over a series of nows, right? You start to get deeper and deeper and deeper. I can sit and meditate for 2 hours now, right? I don't want to come back. Do you know what I mean? It's so peaceful. And sometimes what happens is, right now, and I try to explain this to my clients, my friends, it's like, sometimes you get nothing. Sometimes all I get is the absolute peace and tranquility of that space of nothingness and just focusing on the breathing, right? But then there's other times that I get the answers to everything that I'm thinking about in that day. And the way that comes through, it's not like, it just comes through and oh, that's clarity there. What happens is it comes through as, so for example, when I've been meditating, I was thinking about a conversation that I meant to have with my mentor yesterday. We needed to connect and we couldn't. And what happened was, when I went into meditation last night, into that deep feeling of collective, I actually got the answers to the questions that I wanted from her, right? As though I was having a conversation with her. To be able to help me move forward with that query that I had, okay? Yeah. So then what I done, messaged her, and I know she knows, she says I know, right? But she meditates as well.
Yeah.
And when you have that, when you realize what you can do with the power of your mind, you can get everything that you need is within you already.
Yep.
It just isn't unlocked. It's just getting keys to be able to open the door. And what you think is so what do you want to do? You want to manifest, what do you want? You can have a goal, whatever you want to do, but in order to get there, you need to take action, and you need a conscious commitment to yourself that you're going to do that, and you have to start by quieting your mind and getting rid of the noise that has affected you to where you are right now. And you'll go, well, what can I get rid of? There's so many things. Once you start purging and getting rid, you want to get rid of everything. I just want to sit and meditate and do me clients, have me tea, have a big, and the unconscious conversations with people, and the things that really, like such and such down the road, I couldn't give a monkey's what they're doing. I'm so pleased they are doing what they're doing. Don't waste time talking about them, what you're doing. Like, do you know what I mean? So it's that kind of thing. And meditation is definitely the thing that's been able to help me. But there's tools as well that you can use. On my website, this is a little plug.
No, go for it.
So on my website, which I'll give you the links for, you can, if you register for the mailing list on Ross Jameson-Laffey, you can, you'll get a manifestation toolkit, and it's basically a 62-page free toolkit that you can download that just gives you prompts, because it's almost like somebody wanting to start a journey in the gym. They need equipment to be able to do that, to be able to help them focus in that space of being able to get there. So that's what that is, and it's free to anybody if you want to download. You register on the mailing list and it automatically gives you that download, and you can just then work through some of the tools. And essentially what it is, it's about getting down. It's about giving yourself that space to be able to start digesting who you are, where you are, what you're doing, what you're happy with, what you're not happy with, what you want to change, or what you're frightened to change. Because a lot of people as well don't want to really move forward, because that could impact other members of their family. If they follow their journey, people can fall away. And that's part of what I do on the coaching, is to be able to hold that person in that space of realization of that they are on their journey, regardless of the roles that's been put on them as mother, as father, as son, as uncle, as auntie, of CEO, whatever the hell you want to call yourself, and you are you. and you are on your journey, and what can you do with the truth? Your truth. What can other people do with the truth? Absolutely nothing, because it's yours. And that's why you need to follow your truth on your journey of self-discovery. And once you start, it sounds a bit like happy clappy and all that, but it's not. It's just essentially, it's like, each person is so, we're all individuals, and we all have our own journey, we have our own purpose, but some people don't even know what that is, or they haven't given themselves that time to be able to find out. Once you do, great things happen.
It's got to click though, because it's only happened to you since lockdown.
Yeah.
Like I remember when it happened to me,
Yeah.
working in a factory, and
Yeah.
then someone says, "Well, why didn't you just do the personal?" Like I was already training people.
Yeah.
Why didn't you just be a personal trainer? And then it clicked. Set my dad's garage up like within 3 days, something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that, straight away.
Yeah.
And it's the same whenever I ask people on here, like, so when did it click to like really take care of the health? Because it has to, something like this has to be that. It's a moment. And you can remember back to it.
Yeah.
I remember back to it. Sarah can remember back to hers and all the rest of it. And you'll always remember that
Yeah.
moment. But some people might never get there.
They mightn't, but what I would say is, if you have a thought of knowing that there's something greater, or that you have a desire of wanting something else to the journey that you're on right now, you have the ability to be able to get that light bulb moment. It's just you don't have the tools to do it yet. And that's, like, on me, I do retreats as well, and like on the Manifestation Mastery Day Retreat, it's really about giving the building blocks and holding people in that space and tools. When I would not say I was a guru. This thing of like, but we are all our own individuals on our own journey, sharing what we know, right?
Exactly.
That's the truth.
But all of these things, what you've done to get to this point, it's worth sharing.
Oh, of course.
Do you know what I mean? And that's the thing, like when you say, I'm not a guru or anything like that, don't put your fucking self down.
Yeah.
Do you
Well,
know what I
I'm a
mean?
guru of me,
Because
and
then
if that works for me,
Because then that comes back to
imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome straight away, because then it's like, well, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's, you've done all this,
Yes.
and you can teach it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think one of the things that I'm attaching to that, probably actually when I see the reflection of what I've just said, it's probably because what I want to try and do, and this is my conscious brain, is to put them people in the place of, I'm on my journey, doing what I'm doing. You can too. But my journey's not your journey, yours is yours, and we're here to support you move through whatever that is,
Yeah. Because it is, I think, like, well, let's go. What's the retreats like?
All right.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, so there's a couple of retreats that I've got. So we'll have a Manifestation Mastery, which is a day. All of the retreats are day retreats. What came from that was, there's to go on a retreat. You can go, like I'm going to Colombia, right, in June, and that is thousands of pounds to be able to invest in that, but I'm getting called to that, and that's something that I'm going to invest in. But my purpose is, I'm from heaven. That was where I was born, and I'm just, my parents were hard-working class people, like, in that environment, and I've been able to get this enlightenment of my journey of where I am, and I want to share that with as many people as possible. So we'll put a day retreat in, and basically what you do is I hold people in a safe space. You come to me home, and I invite you into that space. It is incredible. When you come through onto the drive and that, it's just encoded with so much energy. If you think about how many people have walked through on the platform, how many people have sat in the waiting room, which is now my sitting room, what was their thought process going through? It's got a lovely feel. We'll bring them in. I keep the group small, and it's a full day of self-discovery and disconnecting from your environment and being able to reconnect with who you really are. And that's what they do. So I've got a Manifestation Mastery, which is the basic day retreat, which gets you on board, and it basically allows you to be like-minded people who don't know where they're going. They just felt drawn to want to come and to be able to experience. And then I've got Keys to Ascension. Keys to Ascension is the next retreat, which is aimed at more people who are a little bit more spiritually developed in terms of maybe. So
you've got a beginner and an intermediate.
We have. And that one there is all about storytelling. It's all about the power of your story, breath work, and just on a deeper level, All refreshments are in. I've got a beautiful skin specialist, because obviously at the clinic, we've got a clinic there. Lee, my husband, he's got his own aesthetics company, but in there we'd do like facials, and so there's an opportunity, and I've got big plans for a beautiful outdoor sauna.
I've seen
and all kinds.
plans, and it looks amazing.
Yeah, and I just want, the thing is, right, like, the reality is, right, I could have probably stretched myself, bought a house in Darras Hall or Wynyard, something like that, right? And out in the cupboards, big mortgage, huge house, right? And rattled around just me and Lee, right? And I'm, do you know what I mean, right? And the reality is, that's not my path, that's not my journey. What my home is going to be a legacy. It's my legacy, because, I've came to terms with the fact that me and Lee aren't going to be parents, We're fostered 11 children, and that absolutely transformed my life in terms of, the children that were looked after and the understanding of their environment and how they, but what happened was me looking in the mirror and realising that I'm not going to be a dad was something that I had to come to terms with, because I thought I'd be a good dad, and I've got through all of the internal work of that and the emotions. But what I realised is the fact that I've been in property and done me bits and bobs over the years, right? I've been attracted to that. I'm going to create an amazing space, right? That's without question, and it's going to be a legacy. That place is going to be a gift moving on. I want to set it up where, because I've not got no children, my sister might not have any children, she's got one chance, hopefully, next couple of months. But if that doesn't happen, then, what am I going to leave? And I want to leave this lasting legacy where it's a place where people can go and they can utilise that space to be able to be connected with who they are. And that's my true purpose, and I'm going to have that live on past me. Yeah. That's the plan.
Brilliant. And it seems as though you're making it accessible to most people.
Yeah.
Do you know, like you're saying, the other one's thousands of pounds and all the rest of it, and it's like, it seems like everybody can.
You can, and the thing is, right, it's like, people don't batter an eyelid at spending money on a takeaway, right? Like, when they're looking, they'll say, I can't afford a gym membership, or I can't, right? But when you look at really what you're looking at, right, the investment in yourself, you owe it to yourself to be able to spend on you. And I think a lot of us tend not to do that, because it's like, oh, well, no, such and such needs this, or actually, no, I'm not worthy of that. And I think for me, to be able to have that opportunity, to be able to offer that space, and what happens is the container of support when you come, the network of people that you meet as like-minded people that are on their journey, and what happens is friendships are born from that. Like-minded people who are vibrating on the same level, who've got the same issues or they've got similar issues, and they realise, I'm not alone. Everybody in my family doesn't understand what I'm talking about. This is what they say, And then I found such and such who's got this and just shared that, and they connect like that, But yeah, so I've got a wellness retreat who I've teamed up with an artist called Tracy Taylor-Arbed. She's going to be on the BBC actually on Tuesday with Robson Green's Wellness Weekends.
Right. Is you name dropping?
Is it?
Robson Green?
Yeah, Robson it's on Robson and Jerome. It's on a thing, and he's doing a thing on BBC, which is about wellness weekends and stuff. So anyway, she's on there on Tuesday, I think it is. And she reached out to me, and we're going to put on a wellness retreat through art therapy, and being able to really encode your art with your feelings and your thoughts and manifestation and all of that. And you're sitting in the orchard or up on the platform, and just really allowing. You don't have to be an artist, but what happens is there's a technique behind it where you're writing on the actual canvas, and then you put the colours on. And you have that piece of art that nobody else knows what's encoded on that but you, and it's about being able to have that piece of art. It's amazing. So anyway, that's going to happen in the 2nd of April. Yeah. So there's lots planned, and just for me, it's just I'm on my journey of self-discovery, on this need to be able to desire. That's another thing about conscious language that we use. I desire this space of ease and luxury and flow. And what I mean by that, right, is this is like a dance, right? It's like we're enjoying this now. It's like, does this feel like work? You know what I mean? It's we're just sharing. And that's what it should feel like. It absolutely should. And you know, that might be difficult for people who are sitting in a job at the moment, who are sitting there thinking, such and such as, well, do you know what was a big key turning point for me? I worked at Barclays, right?
Right.
So I worked abroad, holiday rep, ski guide, all that. Come home, I need to buy a house, come back, get a proper job, right? Anyway, I used to be like a battery hen in Sunderland.
Right.
Just pop you on hold, right? Like you in the old call centre days. And I used to think, like I was a top seller in the country, one top 5%, top 5, selling people loans that they didn't need. And do you know what, right? Like back in the old PP, you know, all that. And I had a awakening, and I just thought, I'm like a battery hen here. Surely there's something more. And I think a lot of people will probably think that. Now I moved off into business and supporting people into business and stuff. But I didn't go into the self-development. Do you know what I mean? Because I didn't know about that then. It's just come later on. But I think for anybody that's listening who thinks, actually, do you know where it is, right? Like, I am a bit sick of this stuck state of where I am right now. Do you want more? Whatever that more is to them, then I would say, look, get the manifestation tool, start working on your free little bits and bobs. You know, if you want to have a chat and really give yourself that conscious commitment of being able to invest in yourself. Great things will come from that space of holding yourself accountable for that commitment to move into a different frequency. I know that sounds so happy clappy, but it's so true, you know.
Yeah. Sweet, great. Where are we at? We good still? Yeah.
And I can talk with glass eye to sleep, by the way.
Let's go. So when's your next retreat? We'll get that.
My next retreat, I've actually got one on the 12th.
Because this will be out this Sunday, yeah.
Oh, is it on Sunday? Okay. So I've got one on the 12th of February, Sunday the 12th. And then the other ones I've booked, to be fair, and the first one's on the art and wellness is on the 2nd of April. But I will be booking more manifestation masteries after that, you know, because what I'm seeing is, and it's like, I'm just getting guided through this, you know, and
figuring out process.
Yeah, and you know, for me, it's like the need to do something that isn't there. What I'm doing is I'm just enjoying the dance. So I will be. My aim is to do more retreats, right? And I will be doing that and holding that space. So it'll probably be, well, I'm going to Colombia in June. So when I'm looking at it, I might do one in May, because I'm 40 in April. And then after that, it'll be in the summer, because the weather will be different and I'll be able to do different things in the grounds and stuff like that, you know.
The grounding will be nice and warm.
Absolutely. Well, I was out on my stories, this will not be when it's getting put out on Sunday, but this morning I went out and I was thinking, because I had a need to go grounding, right?
Yeah.
Now you think, what? You had a need to go? Well, I did. I just felt, I thought, I'm going out. I'm going to feel it. And it was bitter, but you know, when I put my feet onto the grass in the orchard, right, it was ice cold. And I basically just carried on breathing through. And then all of a sudden, the cold went. And I just meditated and walked for 20 minutes. And it was so amazing in that cold space as well. And I think that's another thing, like, you get loads from when because I was in the summer, I was just lying on the grass and because it's like apple trees and stuff like that. And just thinking, wow, you know, just amazing, like, how amazing is this world that we live in, you know?
In the grass.
So it's funny, right? Yes. And you know, that's it first when I first, do you know? And that's another thing on me retreat, would do grounding and I get the gazebo up, you know, and then we have lovely warm drinks and you come down and it's a real experience. And this is the thing about the ritual of knowing and getting into that space of like because there's horse and carts and all kinds go past, right? But it's like, it's quite shielded actually, in the summer it is. And when you step off the pad onto the grass, right, it's a real, like, it sounds so simple, and it just think, oh, well, I'm not getting out from it, you know, like, and just start walking.
Yeah.
But if you really, really just hold yourself and think about it, right, when you step off onto the grass and then allow the feeling to feel the cold, the connection.
Yeah.
And what happened was, it was hilarious, because some people are laughing. I know everybody will laugh if they're still listening at this, because I can talk a glass eye to sleep. When we're done the grounding and people go off, right, I just go. Just don't speak, just go and listen. And what happened was, people were just walking, they're just looking up at the trees, and And, you know, what I found on the last one when I did the group work, right, everybody's just walking around like the zombie apocalypse, you know, just like walking around just in that one area of genius. And one of the things that I did see back to when we're talking about Penshaw in the orchard on my last retreat, there was one pear on the tree, no leaves, no buds, no shoots, no nothing, just one little pear just blowing in the wind, and you know, and like I would never have seen that, the strength of that little pear, you know, and I noticed, and I looked at it and I thought, get the camera, go straight up to it, because it was like, how amazing, like all the rest of them, there was loads of apples on the floor. Yeah, exactly. You little sod. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, it's about getting in touch with that. And you know, I didn't realise that was going to be so powerful until we got everybody back, got all cosy and warm, back in the main sitting room, sitting down and just talking about that experience. And it was like, did you feel that? And you think, God, well, no, I didn't. But next time I'm going to think, I'll allow myself to wander curiously off into that thought process. Yeah. And that's the development you get, you know.
Brilliant. So where can people find you?
Right, so I have Ross Jameson-Laffey.co.uk. That's for me retreats and for anything where you want one-to-one coaching on your own personal development. We have Sprouted, which is the company for businesses, and what I'll also do, I've spoke to Laura, one of the co-founders. She is offering, we'll have a download for social media strategy for anybody who's in business. It's normally £29, but we can, for this, anybody who's in business who wants a starter social media strategy, you can click the link and register, and you'll get that for free, like Laura's gift, you know, and that's that.
That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank
Come
you.
here.
Thank you so much.